Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Vic Matus is the weekend editor at the Washington Free Beacon and co-host of the Getting Hammered podcast, and like me, Catholic, and therefore leaning into the Conclave news. First, though, I got to clean up from the Getting Hammered episode that I listened to on my flight yesterday, the role of Sister Jean in your cafeteria. I was you left me with the impression that she was something of an Obergruppenführer. What was going on there, Vic?
Sister Jean, God bless her. She was a wonderful nun and gym teacher, I want to point out, Hugh. But she ran what was known as the big annual spaghetti dinner, and she ran it with intensity, and she ran it with an iron fist, I must say. But it was always a success. And at the cafeteria, you could not leave if you were in grade schools, meaning 1 through 8. You cannot leave to go out to the playground until your tray was empty, much like in an army.
Okay, well, the potato salad in the pocket is worth the entire interview, Vic, because, of course, you being, fourth grade, forgot the potato salad in your pocket. Yeah. And there's no way I would have eaten... I would never have eaten school potato salad. That's a salmonella outbreak waiting to happen. I can't believe they even allowed that in the school.
Yeah, that was the 80s. And again, it was quite a disappointment because I thought it was mashed potatoes. We didn't get much of that at my house. We got mostly rice. So, the time was like, oh, this is really exciting. And one bite of that, I said, we got a disaster on our hands, quite literally. And I stuffed it in my pocket. I said, I'm all done. Get me to the playground.
Okay. You got to go to Hillsdale and see my buddy Scott Bertram. Did Scott tell you he's a White Sox fan? Because Scott's a White Sox fan, if you can believe it.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't play that up right now. At least now, in the early, it's still early in the season, as you know, Hugh. So no, he didn't bring it up, but he was great. He did talk about you being out there. He's a big fan of yours, and actually, all of Hillsdale listens to your show.
Oh, John Miller's a fabulous guy. I'm sure you had a great time, but I got to get to the important stuff. You had a conversation with Cardinal Sarah, and you asked him about the local mass times. Am I getting this right? Is that what you did?
I did. It was rather intimidating because he is a real presence, and this is a cardinal who's from Africa, and who has had attempts on his life, and there he is at the in the Vatican with his assistants, and we have this big meeting, and it's very solemn, and you can feel his presence and his holiness, if you will. But, I'm sort of not the expert in, the Vatican religious affairs was not my area. I was happy to be part of this journalist group that was there. So I figured, what the heck? I'm going to ask the first question. And it had to do with, at the end of Mass, before you say the Mass is ended, go in peace. Our pastor at the time, who's no longer there, and this was at a different parish I go to, not the one now, he would say, are there birthdays? Are there anniversaries? Where are you from? Newcomers, everybody clap. And I thought this was kind of disrupting the flow of the presence because it's still there. And I wanted to know what Cardinal Sarah thought about that. And he gave a few seconds pause. He smiled kindly, and he just said very diplomatically that there is power in silence. And we should try to
Vic, when I was in college, Harvey Mansfield, the great Harvey Mansfield, came to our house for dinner. And this is one of the great political theorists of our time. And we spent the entire 2 hours talking to him about great inflation. What a waste. I guess young people just waste stuff. But I want you to know, I am preparing for the next Pope by listening to Cardinal Sarah's The Day Is Now Far Spent. Have you ever listened to this?
No, I have not.
He is quite alarmed about the state of the church. And I've been reading the little snippets, and Francis's close-knit circle is unhappy with the pre-conclave talk about unity. They view that as going backwards. Yeah. I view that as, you mean they're not going to hate on the Americans anymore? That would be unusual.
Yeah. I feel like the cardinals or the factions that you and I like, Hugh, Cardinal Sarah, Cardinal Burke, they've all been sidelined over time, in the last Pope's reign. May he rest in peace. But he was coming at from the other side. As you know, he basically has a supermajority, if you want to think about this in political terms, of that conclave in terms of who's voting. This isn't to say that the fix is in and the next Pope will be Francis Part 2. It's a mystery. It could always go in a different direction. certainly more towards tradition. But, I'm sure you're like me, bracing for the media take of, will they be more embracing of mercy and openness and compassion, or will they go back to their stodgy old dark ages?
It's the Inquisition about to launch. I want them to reach down and do what they call a deep select in the military and grab Archbishop Chaput out of his retirement in Philadelphia and put him in. But I'm probably not getting much of a voice in the conclave. My worry is that these 135 people, they have no idea who they're from all over the place. Francis was like throwing darts when he picked cardinals, right? Oh, let's go get the Algerian cardinal. Let's get the guy from Haiti. And those are both choices, and I'm sure they're fine Catholic populations, but really?
Yeah. I would like to see some of the Africans actually in the lead, since they're more conservative, and that would throw the media for a loop because they wouldn't know how to cover it. On the one hand, it would be their first, non-European or from South America of European descent, cardinal. On the other hand, to be the Pope. On the other hand, the views would be very much against what they think, should be the views of a new modern Pope from 2025. So that's my thought. And I would also say, beware of the Germans. As you know.
Oh, gosh. Don't even talk to them. Take their vote away. Vic, if Cardinal Burke emerged as Pope Leo the 104th, what would happen to the American media? Would it melt down in front of our eyes?
Yeah, I think very much so. And he's a good man. I also met him on this trip. He was very nice.
Did you ask him about confession times?
I did. Yeah. Why is it only on Saturdays between 3:30 and 4:30? Why is that, Your Eminence? It's so inconvenient for me. It should be like more open. If you want more confession, have more time.
That's what I say.
No, I think the conversation revolved around the Latin Mass is what that conversation was. Yeah.
Vic, don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you during the break about something. Can I hold on to you for a couple more minutes? All right, good. Vic Matus will be right back. Follow him at Victorino Matus. Easily the most interesting handle on X, Victorino Matus. I should have been named Victorino. I think Victorino Hewitt would have been a fine name as opposed to Hugh Hewitt, which Jimmy Fallon made fun of. I don't care. Not that I mind. I'll be right back, America. Stay tuned. So I'm back with Vic Matus for a little Catholic talk. Vic, I view the church in America as doing great at the base and irregular at the summit. Meaning we got some strawy bishops running around out there and cardinals, but we got a great young group of seminarians pumping out under the influences of people like Chaput and Corleone and Gomez. What do you think about the church in America?
Yeah, I think that's right. It's sort of an inverse where you have this growing movement among the young people, men and women. Certainly, I'm from Arlington Diocese here in Virginia, and that's extremely dynamic. And I understand there are parts of the country where it's an older generation, and it's a little bit more sad in that sense because you're not finding as many young people. But how you draw them in and how you attract them is through tradition. It's through mystery. It's through, holding the line as a moral compass that the church is, and it's not just open to, the winds of change because times are always changing. That's the problem. And once you go down that road and sort of dilute the faith to open things for more people in different ways, you're losing people because people want the guidance. That's exactly what they want. And you have people on top. You're absolutely right. There are people who will, have no problems, with the Joe Bidens or the Nancy Pelosi Catholics, or I think Lauren Powell Jobs recently said that she's very pro-choice and she's an observant Catholic. So I'd like to, see how they square that.
It doesn't work that way. You can't be that. What I really want is someone to come out every day and say, Jesus Christ is Lord. He is risen indeed. And you should believe because the four last things are death, judgment, heaven, and hell. Did you learn that or are you too young to have learned that?
Yeah, I grew up, in New Jersey, went to Catholic school in the 70s, 80s. So it was a little bit softer than that message. And it didn't get sort of a more harder edge until I got older, which I appreciated and which I wanted. Faith is supposed to be hard. That's the whole point. And I think we lost too many people because we made it too easy.
I agree. Vic Matus, always a pleasure. Death, judgment, heaven, and hell. That's what we're going to call the show going forward. Death, judgment, heaven, and hell. Thank you for joining me, Vic. Don't go anywhere, America. I'll be right back.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.